I'm your host, Jessica Flynn of thejessicaflynn.com, and our show is on a mission to unleash local wisdom for widespread impact. We are committed to inspiring positive change in our community and beyond. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Samindra Purathna, a goal-oriented and driven grade 11 student in the Gifted and Enhanced program with a passion for making a positive impact on the world with the help of technology. Samindra aspires to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering and become a future leader in the ever-growing STEM industry. She actively engages in projects that involve robotics and programming using languages such as HTML, CSS, and Python, and we're going to learn what those things are. She has participated in various robotics competitions, including FLL, WRO, and the VEX Robotics competition, which have helped her continue to develop her skills in design and problem solving. Sam is always eager to learn more about emerging technologies and explore global issues while looking for new ways to apply her learning to help society. Her goal is to drive innovation and develop sustainable solutions for a brighter future. So without further ado, welcome Sam to our show.
Hello.
Hello, and thank you for taking the time out of school to come and join us on set and share your story with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, so we first met this past summer.
Yes.
So we had finished a cohort of empowering young entrepreneurs younger than yourself, ages 10 and up, to learn about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And you were invited as a speaker to teach our students about Summer Company, which is a program we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. But do you remember what actually happened? I can tell you. You delivered this inspirational keynote speech that none of us were expecting, and all of the students were on the edge of their seats, and you were just naturally sharing your gift of storytelling and inspiring, and I just thought, oh, I hope I can get her on my show. So you're a celebrity here. I hope you know that.
Well, it's definitely new.
It's a new experience,
Yeah.
and we're going to have a lot of fun together. So you recently completed this Summer Company program and launched your own graphic design business. What's your business called?
It's Divinely.
Divinely. And what do you do in graphic design?
I do logo, and then I do branding and website design.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start a business and do it through this Summer Company program?
Well, my mother was the one who actually got the email from the town of Collingwood for the Summer Company program, and we looked into it, and that's how we got that started. But my passion for businesses and doing website design started when I was like 5.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I always loved the idea of just being able to put stuff online and share information with everybody. So I initially started with Google Sites.
Yeah.
And then
so did I. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned more about HTML and CSS, which are the languages that typically you use for website designing.
Okay.
From Zebra Robotics. And then...
And sorry, Zebra Robotics is a club that you were a part of at the time?
No, it's actually an organization.
Okay.
So it does robotics, coding, and all these different things related to tech.
Okay.
So I went there for initially robotics. And then because of my interest in website building, I was like, okay, I want to learn this. So then I learned that. And then the first website that I ever actually made was for a monk at my temple. He's the urban Buddhist monk, and he wanted a website, so I was like, wow. I can do this.
And how old were you at that point?
I was 11.
Wow, okay. And you said, I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my mother, she's literally the cornerstone of almost everything that I've done in my life. She was like, oh, you should do this. And then I was like, okay, I can do it. And then I did it. And then that's how it got started. And then when we saw the email for Summer Company, my mother was like, "Oh, you should try this out. It'll be fun." I was like, "Yeah, this will probably be fun." And we started with that.
It sounds like you and your parents, who are both here in the, I'll say the audience with us, they are the audience today, are very supportive. And it sounds like look at learning as an adventure and let's try this.
Yeah. something that both of my parents value is taking the stuff that we know and then trying to help as many people as we can with the stuff that we know. So whenever I learn something, something that like can be inspirational for everyone is whenever you learn something, try and implement it into the community and try and help as many people as you can with the knowledge that you have.
Incredible. Just like you did for a monk that you respected and was learning from, and how do we help this person get their message out to others?
He has a very powerful message of like spreading kindness.
Yeah.
And I think I value that a lot as a
Beautiful.
person as well,
So you're looking for like mission-driven clients as well in your work.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And so we've touched a little bit on how you came up with this idea. Tell me more. So your mom suggested summer company. What was it that intrigued you to actually say yes and put in your application?
Well, personally, one thing that I've always wanted is to not work for anybody else, work for myself. I love the feeling of just being able to control what I do and have that flexibility. So I was like, okay, this can be a stepping stone to my future.
Yes.
Because I like planning things out. I'm a very logical thinker. So I was like, okay, I can't afford to have this like be something that I risk too much.
Right.
So it sort of got that risk factor a little bit lower.
Absolutely.
Because obviously it is a risk to just start a business like that.
Yeah.
So it really helped me with the guidance factor of that. And so when I was starting it, that's what intrigued me first. The fact that, okay, this was something that I could like depend on a little bit.
Right.
And also like they provided lessons
Okay.
as well. Those were really helpful.
What kind of lessons? What did you learn?
So these were lessons based on the different financial aspects of it. I learned bookkeeping and copyright and a lot of different things related to maintaining a business and helping promote a business. I also learned different marketing strategies as well.
Okay.
I failed to implement the social media part of those marketing things. I'm not a very big person on that, which is ironic.
Yeah.
But I try to take those things and then build my business with those. So that definitely helped.
Excellent.
And yeah, so just having that educational aspect of it and having that support system was something that I like deeply wanted when I wanted to start my business initially.
And when you talk about risk, or I assume you're talking about financial risk?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the main factor.
So
yes.
It does cost money to make money, right? To start
does.
something?
Yeah.
Whereas what was different in the summer company model?
So obviously there's the grant
Okay.
that you get. That grant helped me get it started. So the initial costs for the branding that I did and then the website that I made, obviously it was by myself, but it needed the softwares. Those covered the initial costs for that.
Excellent.
And then after that, it was really just me trying to market myself and put myself out there.
And how did you find that experience, marketing yourself and putting yourself out there?
It was definitely something new. It was a roller coaster in the sense that I'm not really the type of person to start something without knowing what I got into. So
Entrepreneurship cannot offer you that safety all the time.
It cannot.
Yeah.
And that's something that the support systems that I had like really helped me with, because I'm a perfectionist, and having that support and being able to like really make mistakes without being like, oh my God, I screwed up.
Yeah.
That really helped me. And it's important to take risks in your life. That's one of the main things that I learned, because you can't have that guarantee that everything's gonna go perfectly.
I have a question about, you're so immersed in your school life right now. You're 16 years old.
Yes.
And what you're saying about, let's call it failure, maybe?
Yes.
Like experimenting, going with the unknown, things might not work out. Did you find that difficult when the school experience, values, the goal is to get 100%. The goal is to get perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
In terms of those two, I actually find that because those two worlds collided for me, I was able to implement the sort of like less fear of risk that I had in entrepreneurship to my school.
Ah.
Yeah. So because of that, my physics teacher actually always says this, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because it's better that you fail now than later in your life, because mistakes help you grow. And
Yes.
so that's one thing that I learned from the entrepreneurship factor of it, because even if there are parts where you have to go back and like redo things, and even if that's a little bit scary, it's okay as long as you continue to move forward, and as long as you continue to have a continuous learning experience.
Yes.
So
Fail forward. Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And it's not like I get perfect in everything I do. I don't.
Right.
And that's okay, because that's how life works.
That's how you learn.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't, yeah. If everything you did was always just yep, then what are you really,
You're
how
not
are you
getting
growing,
anywhere.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what was, before we go to break in a couple of minutes, can you tell us about a specific challenge that you came up against during your, launching your business this summer?
Okay, so one of the challenges that I experienced was literally just getting myself out there. Again, that was the biggest challenge that I faced, because I can create the website, I can make the logo, but in terms of putting myself out there and risking that, that was the main thing. And that was the biggest challenge that I had in terms of both my, maybe like self-confidence is, I think that's the
For
right
sure.
word for that, because
Yeah.
I'm not a very talkative person. So
And yet you're a beautiful and very eloquent speaker. So I think this is your 16, this is an excellent way to get comfortable putting yourself out there.
exactly, and that's something that I'm like trying to unlearn as well. I'm trying to learn to be a little bit more loud.
Yes, especially when you have messages of supporting and helping people who are doing good things in the world, right?
Exactly.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, when we come back from our break, we're going to dive into a little bit more about the nitty-gritty of your business and how you balance a part-time job, running a business, being in the gifted program at school, getting all of your academics done, having a family life, having friends, sprinkled in all of that. And we're just excited to learn more about Sam and her story and her vision of the future. So we will see you back soon on Empowered with your host, Jessica Flynn. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm your host, Jessica Flynn, and today we are having the most inspirational conversation with grade 11 student Samindra. Sam, we were talking about your experience in summer company and some of the challenges that you had to work through, like putting yourself out there, which does get easier, but you're always in bigger rooms, I find. So there's always that growth that we experience.
Yes.
But what were some of the supports and resources available to you in that program to help with some of the challenges you encountered?
Yeah, so the biggest supporters that I had while starting my business were Steph and Mr. Donborn. They really helped with the aspect of getting me out of my comfort zone. Mr. Bourne was always on the fact that, like, you don't have to be perfect. Just put yourself out there. And Steph was like, she was my main support system in terms of, like, marketing and actually doing the things to get myself out there.
Right.
And be more comfortable with that. So I think they definitely helped me with that. And then all the other like important like leads that we had for the presentations that were conducted
Okay.
helped me get the knowledge that I needed to continue my business as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the program gave you some leads to get started with, or how did that work?
So basically, there were like sessions every month, and then we would go in, and then we would learn the different topics that would connect us with the professionals in that thing.
Ah, okay.
So for copyright, we learned how to write the copyright, and then we practiced it as well. And we could have the conversation with the person that was giving the presentation.
Oh,
to,
excellent.
Like, see if we did it correctly or if there were things that we could improve on as well.
Right.
So yeah, it really helped build that connection with the people who were professionals at it, so that we could build our skills in that as well.
And as a student, how do you find you're learning when you're learning from a teacher who's teaching a subject, and then you have the opportunity to learn from someone who's putting that into practice and making a living from it?
It's very different in the sense that there's like the application part of it. When you're talking to a professional who's doing it every day in their life, like you can see that they know what they're doing. When a teacher's teaching you a subject, it's more in the fact that they want you to learn this thing for you to excel at this specific thing in general. But when you're applying it to a business, it's different because there are so many layers to that thing. There are so many different levels to it that you have to learn and then really like master in order for that thing to be successful as a whole.
Right. So there's English you learn at school, and then copywriting. There's copywriting for social media. There's copywriting for business proposals. There's copywriting for websites. So to dive into the specifics.
Yeah, and really apply that into the thing so that you can move your business to a higher level. Yeah.
Really, really cool. And so you started, is it May, June?
Yeah, the process started a little bit earlier, around like the beginning of May.
Okay.
Because there was like a proposal involved with that, so I had to make my business plan and like pitch it. Not like pitch it, but like
submit your business
my
plan.
business plan.
Yeah.
And then there was that, and then there was the integration from that in order to get it started. So there was those steps in between. And then there was obviously the getting it started and getting it running,
Right, taking all these workshops and then implementing it, getting that support. I understand, so you received, it's a $3,000 total grant if you hit all the checkpoints?
Yes.
So how did that, you mentioned some software that you needed for your business. How else did you invest that $3,000 into your growth?
Yeah, so I purchased a laptop.
Wow.
Yeah, so the laptop, it really helped me get separate my like personal things from my business.
Good for you. That's hard to do as an entrepreneur. Yes.
It is, yeah. So, because a lot of my personal things, they consume like the storage space as well.
Right.
And I needed a lot of the storage space for the softwares.
Yes.
Because they're very intense softwares. So I had that separated. That was nice. Also, the microphone on my previous computer was not the best.
Right.
So that helped me when tuning into like the meetings that I had with the clients, because a lot of the meetings that I did were virtual.
Right.
Because it was easier to connect with the people through that aspect.
Yeah.
Especially if we were far from each other. So that helped with that. And then I also invested a little bit into the technology that I purchased through the computer. So like to get my software set up as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really to allow you to put your best foot forward, and now you can take this device and all this tech and continue your work. So are you still, so the program technically wrapped, I guess, August, September-ish. Are you still operating your business?
Yes.
Wow.
I am.
Okay. So what does that look like?
It's a lot different now, especially because I have my school and my part-time job and all of that. I definitely spend less time working on that now that I would like to. But
you are in school full-time, and that is your full-time job. So give yourself some credit there.
Yeah. And I spend most of my free time either marketing myself or working on the projects that I already have. I am working on a few projects right now.
Client projects.
Wow. Yeah.
And that looks like logo design, website development.
There's mostly right now I'm focusing on the websites because that is more time consuming. So just really getting those meetings done and talking with those people to figure out what they want, and just really putting it together.
Before the cameras turned on, we were talking about your favorite part of your business. So what makes you smile like that when you think of your business?
My main thing is really being able to help people and use what I have and the skills that I have with building websites to help those people succeed in their futures and help other people through their businesses. So like the monk, he really focuses on spreading kindfulness to everyone. So I like helping people like that spread their message and get themselves awareness when it comes to that. And technology is the best thing for
Technology can
that.
help us do that, right?
Yeah.
And that support of when you marketing and branding is what you do, also
Yes.
what you struggle with personally, right? Putting yourself out there. So how do you think that personal struggle that you experience helps you deliver that service for your clients?
Yeah, so personally, because I struggle with that, I realize that other people can struggle with that too.
For sure.
And because I just create the marketing plan for them, I'm not actually the person putting myself out there for them. So I find it easier to be like, here's what you need.
Yes.
This will help you. And I
Do
feel
what
like,
I say, not what I do necessarily. I say that to my clients all the time.
Literally, yeah. Because the marketing plan is what helps the people have sort of an idea of what they need to do in order for them to succeed.
Right.
And I don't have anybody to do that for me except myself.
Right.
So it's difficult for me to do that, and I realize that, which is what makes me want to help those people more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, you've got this great support system at home.
Yes.
And it's a great lesson for all of us to lean on those people who are our cheerleaders and our
Exactly.
champions. And
Yeah.
you don't have to, even though entrepreneurship can feel isolating and there's a lot to do on your own, anytime you can lean on others, like our community here can support and cheerlead you, you need to do that, right? To self-preservation.
Exactly.
And promotion and self-promotion.
Yeah.
So in addition to all of this, you also have a part-time job, 2 days a week, doing
robotics. So it's actually at the same place where I learned coding and learned robotics myself. So I was a student for 10 years. And now I teach. I've been teaching for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? I teach students robotics. What?
So I literally I go in, and it's all like, it's either like Lego or when it comes to programming, there's like languages like Python and HTML.
And these are students as young as?
So these are students from 10 to 16.
Okay.
So I teach, I very rarely, but I do teach students my age.
Wow.
When I first started my job, though, I taught kids who were 5 to
Oh my
9.
goodness.
It was a really, really nice experience. It was so adorable.
Okay. So sorry, I interrupted to just picture the age groups. So you arrive, there's tools like Lego, and then what do you spend your time there doing with these students?
So there are pre-planned lessons. So each student, it's self-paced. So each student is at a different place. So I find ways to adapt to those students.
Okay.
And because I've done literally like almost all these courses, it's easier. So I know where students are going to have challenges. I know where I need to be able to help them, and like where they might struggle with understanding this concept.
Right.
So I focus on those concepts. I teach all the concepts to each of the students because the main thing that I want is for them to have their knowledge.
Right.
And then the robotics aspect of it, it helps them apply those concepts that I teach them.
Yes.
So if I teach them about a mechanism, I give them a challenge that needs that mechanism.
Wow.
And so they build it, and then I give them feedback, obviously, because feedback is important for that.
Right.
And then
how do they
build.
continue learning?
Exactly.
And you've been involved in some robotics competitions. Is this through the same organization?
Yes, it's all through the same organization. Zone 1 was my very first one. So all of these ones entail having a robot, and you code it, and you build it, and it does different challenges. So Zone was the first one, and then the latest one that I'm doing is the Vex Robotics one. Vex it's not Lego. So Zone 1, WRO, and FLO were all Lego.
Okay.
And then the Vex one is metal.
Wow.
Yeah,
And do you work on them as a team, or is that okay?
So I'm in a team with 10 to 13 people. So they're including mentors. So,
Right.
We go in, and then we CAD it, so we computer aided design.
Okay.
So we designed it.
Perfect.
on
Thank
a
you for the
computer.
acronym. Yeah.
Yeah, I realized after I said that.
Oh, good.
We design it,
Yeah.
and then we see what pieces fit where, and then afterwards we build it, and then we take it to the competition where it's like battle bots. We literally we fight
Wow.
against each other, and then we complete the challenges there to get points, and then based on the points we move forward or do
Wow.
that. Yeah.
That sounds like an incredible learning and team building experience.
Yeah, it's definitely it's very reliant on the team, because if you don't have a good team, then you cannot get anywhere in life. In life and in competitions.
Yeah, I completely agree. But for you to say something like that at 16 and really have experienced that, I think is profound. And so, Sam, I have this many cue cards still of questions. I just want to thank you so much for coming on here and sharing a sliver of your story and what you're up to. And what I would love to ask you as our final takeaway is, you've got such a diverse approach to education and learning and growth.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell other families? I think there's some messages here I would love you to say to parents, to educators, and then to a student like yourself.
Yeah.
How do young people and those that support young people help empower you to be all of these wonderful things for you and our community?
Yeah. So the main thing that I would say in terms of being support systems is make sure that the people who you're supporting, they don't take that risk as a hindrance to their future, because mistakes help people grow. And so rather than making the person you're supporting feel bad about the mistakes they're making, take that as an opportunity to uplift them and help them grow from those mistakes. That's what I would say for the people supporting. And in terms of the people who are going through that learning process, which is honestly really everyone, just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I'm learning that myself.
Here you are on TV doing it, right?
Literally. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and really just focus on yourself, the stuff that you know, the stuff that you don't know, and move forward with that to become the person who you want to be. And even if you're not the person who you want to be within the timeline, give yourself that time. There's a plan for everyone, and just try your best, and just grow, and then it'll all fall into place.
Yeah, it'll all fall into place. Yeah. 16. Okay, I have to keep reminding myself of that. But thank you, Samindra, for joining us, for taking the day. I'm so thrilled. And again, I think we have another couple of episodes. We'd love to have you back on and continue the conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in to Empowered with Jessica Flynn, and we'll see you next time.